Well, I'll say, I mean,
None of people challenge.
I do know this. There's no place I'd rather be, and that's obviously the LLB store. We are celebrating the great game of baseball. We're going to talk a lot about what just happened with us Red Sox. We're going to talk about the glory of opening day at Fenway Park. But I want to tell everybody why we're here at the LLB store in Seaport, because I did an excellent podcast the other day with Sean Corbin, the chairman of LLB, and it was unbelievable, fellas. It was unbelievable connection that LLB had with baseball. Right behind us in this folder, there is a letter from Ted Williams offering to buy LLB. There is checks written by Babe Ruth. There is plenty pictures from Babe Ruth. There is mitts made out of that they made. Look at the baseball mitts, all of that. If we talk about the glory of baseball, this was a perfect example. And that's why I'm so honored not only to be with you two, but to be here. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you to LLB because this is a lot of people here. It's an awesome time.
Thank you for the kind words. I have a question for you. If Ted Williams had successfully purchased LLB, how would his career be?
Well, it was after he retired. So.
How would his legacy have been?
I mean, listen, I think that it would have taken another.
I think he could have come back and hit 100 more.
Because what you would probably do, like, so my family has a place in Freeport, Maine, near LLB. And my 92-year-old dad goes out, swings an axe, and I would imagine that for Ted Williams, it might have extended his career. Because that's what you do. You go up into the woods, you swing an axe, you're wearing the gear. Speaking of gear, I told you guys, we have all the LLB gear. I'm wearing LLB boots.
You gotta get your feet up there, Ron?
Oh, there it is. All right, there's workman's comp, full hamstring. This is for a good cause. All right, but it is cool. Like, honestly, it is cool when we came in and we see all this stuff. And the other big part of this too is we talked about the tote bags. Did you guys get a whiff of those in more ways than one? No, I don't know how to. No. But the glory of these tote bags. The tote bags, which people are buying here in limited edition, they took the tarp from Red Sox, obviously the LLB tarp. And instead of just throwing it away, they made tote bags.
Yeah, no,
it's right. You can see it. One's right there.
They're pretty cool, and I'm kind of thinking about maybe purchasing one because all year last year, my tote bag stand-in was that bag that the Red Sox gave away, little satchel, and I got made fun of quite a bit for wearing.
Oh yeah, no. This is much better than the European carry.
Well, it wasn't a fanny bag.
My CMO, Chief Marketing Officer / Chief Marital Officer, Tim Bradfo. Here it is. There it is. Take a whiff.
That is a farm.
Right there. That is the smell of baseball.
Red and green one. We got one here. Behind us.
So I said this. Tell me if you agree. When we were doing the podcast with Sean, I said, Sean was talking about how they were thinking about having the LLB logo on the green monster, and I said, no. It was absolutely the right move to do the tarp because it is officially, it's an iconic part of Fenway Park right now. Like, no disrespect to the people who walk on the wall. That's great, but it turns over a bunch. And, it's like, oh, it hits so-and-so. Like, I'm not going to list the companies on it. But we know the iconic part of Fenway Park is, the LLB.
Here's the thing.
Right? Okay.
The tarp actually might get the biggest ovation out of any entity at that ballpark because when the ground comes up to it, everyone's on their feet. Everyone's going nuts.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
It's iconic. Speak of iconic, play Tessie, brands of never. Right?
Listen, they took their crochet energy, put it in the extension clip.
I mean, and there's also a very publicized documentary coming out. You guys might be that. Who knows? So play Tessie again, very hot. You were just down spring training. I have been home for the first time in about a month and a half. or so. I flew in this morning from Baltimore. I went from Florida to, I didn't even lose track of where I was, to Texas, to Baltimore, was in Baltimore. So, much like we are, boots on the ground, boots on the ground here in Boston, boots on the ground, you guys were boots on the ground in Fort Myers. I was in Texas, I was in Baltimore. We are now getting ready for, we're talking about iconic, and by the way, LOB Park, we're going to see this weekend. We're going to see it Saturday. Here, spoiler alert: the LOB tarp is coming out Saturday. But we are heading into the home opener. I've gone through 2 home openers. I've already got 2 home openers under my belt. I got Texas.
It never gets
and I got Baltimore. You want me to power rank? You want me to power rank the home openers?
Yes, that's here.
All right. Texas was. I mean, first of all, the press box is 50 stories up, and they fire off the fireworks right next to your ear. So that's not good for anybody. That diminished the home opener for me. They had someone throw out the pitch. I had no idea who it was. I'm sure somebody did. No. Somebody told me. Oh yeah, no. If you don't know, it's always local. But I don't know.
It could just be something.
Yeah, it's kind of like the celebrity softball game now. Is the All-Star game? It's all TikTok stars.
I have to Google them
Right.
every batter.
Yeah, it's all TikTok people. They're like, I'm old man yelling at clouds right now. But
listen to these guys talk. I just found out who Chapo Malone is.
I know. Come on.
Wait, who did you not know? Oh, you didn't know who Morgan Wallen was? Yeah, I thought Morgan Wallen.
You're a bad representation.
You know who pop culture is.
Anyway, so I went to the Texas home opener. Everyone's excited. The clubhouses are very, very bad. For the Baltimore home opener, flyover, I tried to catch the flyover, and the flyover was, I could barely see it. I could hear the fans like, oh, here come the planes. And then you kind of see it to the left. You have to go, if you're doing a flyover, I'm telling this to all the people who are serving our country and doing these flyovers, do it straight over the park, right?
I gotta take. I'm not a big flyover guy.
You're not?
Not a big flyover.
Are you offended by the flyover?
No, it just doesn't really.
Oh, flyover is a good flyover?
If there's like fireworks and stuff and like music and it's part of the equation, maybe, but if it's just a flyover, I'm like.
Can I tell you the best flyover story?
Yes, please.
The best flyover story was when there was a flyover. We were in the press box in Fenway Park, and the flyover is coming right at us, which is want to do. And you go, here comes the planes. And then all of a sudden, oh my goodness, that plane, wait a second, it's doing like a barrel roll, and it's kind of coming right at the press box. We were legitimately, everybody in that press box was hitting the floor. And I think the person got in trouble.
That's oh my God. You know, I'll tell you, Rob, I gotta admit something up with Sammy on this. They don't really do that much. I don't know. It's like it's just like it's fun. It's not like
it's not like I'm playing 30,000 feet up in the air.
It's not that I dislike flyovers. It just doesn't.
What?
In your situation, if I felt like there was a chance I was about to get crushed by the plane, like, all right, this is crazy. But
how about a skydiver dropping into the middle of the field?
I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Oh, really?
I think I would enjoy that. What if they had like a fun parachute, like a baseball?
You know what? LOB, yes.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool.
I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody. But tomorrow there may or may not be someone jumping from a plane wearing a baseball and boring jumpsuit with an LOB parachute. I mean, it may happen. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it is. But,
sometimes when we do shows, I'm like, is he trying to trick me? Is he serious? And this is one of those times, so it might happen. I mean, it could happen.
Yeah, there you go. And the parachute will be made out of the LOB.
That's so much pressure on the parachute. The parachute has to be perfect, or else it's like it's hard.
No, it'll get the job done. So what is, before we get into the Red Sox, tell me about, if you don't like flyovers, and you have no idea about parachute, what is your favorite thing about home openers? I mean, because this is what we have to do. The opening day is coming on. This is the home opener. This is Boston. This is Fenway Park. Give me your favorite thing.
So it doesn't need to be a home opener, but like a big game kind of thing. What they did in the World Series.
Hold on. I'm going to simulate the extreme training.
Okay.
Ready? See how much better I am at it now?
Just 2 hands.
Yay, baseball.
Yeah, baseball.
So my answer, a big game thing, not necessarily only on opening day, but in the World Series, the Dodgers had Ice Cube, and the Yankees had Fat Joe, who's no longer fat. I love both ends of that spectrum. Ice Cube was awesome. Fat Joe was a disaster. Give me either. It's got to be really good or really bad. I love that. Either, like, oh my God.
Does Fat Joe ever do anything baseball related ever again?
Will he? He hasn't since.
It's the curse of Fat
He
Joe.
did a show shortly after. I don't know what it was for, but I remember it laughing. But either really good or really bad. Either was entertaining for different ways.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll give you a more traditional answer. I'm a huge fan of just guys calling out the names and then going down the street. And gauging the cheers.
Did you hear my conversation, my 2-minute grill conversation with Tessie breaking down his introduction? That etiquette. Oh, you didn't hear this?
You filled it in.
Yeah. Well, it was of course. So the good thing about like Tessie, I think you guys know this, he does not want ever to be told what the question is, right? So we do the 2-minute grill on our pregame show, which is a 2 or 3 minute interview, and he's great at it because you know that he always gets going to get an interesting answer. So I go up to him, I said, okay, this is before opening day. What is your etiquette? What is your strategy when it comes to player introduction? And I was thinking more when you get to the line and you do or you do
Point to the camera.
or you just do
Like the raised guys.
Well, he went all the way back to when you're doing. He's like you alternate hands, so you every other player you get right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. And then I asked him, okay, well now what do you do when you get in the line? Camera comes up in front of you. What do you do? And he said, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's on brand.
Yeah.
That's on brand. That's what I would expect.
What's that? What are you doing? All right. So anyway, but that always, I don't think that, much like Hall of Fame balls, I don't think players are creative as much as they should be. Who was the guy that recently turned around? Todd Bradfo.
That was funny, like a sitcom kind of.
Yeah.
They should do more of that. And it was extra funny because it was at a minor league stadium, so
Yeah.
it was very like quiet and awesome.
Yeah, so
So
let's
that's
do
what
it.
it needs to elicit an emotion. That's why I would have liked to be at the Fat Joe one, just to cringe in person, and be like, this is a disaster. I can't get enough. Or Ice Cube, like, okay, this is sick. This is Ice Cube.
All right.
Either way.
So I'm going to ask each of you. You're introduced tomorrow, which there's a 50% chance of that happening. They introduced in Baltimore. They introduced everybody. They introduced like every radio person, everybody, broadcasters. Everyone's getting introduced. So there's a chance you might get introduced. So Sam, you can go first. And by the way, just to remind everybody, we're at the Yellow Bean store in Seaport. We're celebrating the great game of baseball. There's no better place to do this because of the rich history that Yellow Bean has with the great game of baseball. And like I said, the wife's like laughing at me. Like, why is my husband so flexible? So anyway, go ahead.
So I've never even thought about this.
I know, that's why
Would
I
my
asked.
voice get picked up by the microphone?
No.
Okay. I would scream directly into the camera. Like when they say my name, just like
No.
scream like that.
You simulate.
No, I would scream, but you wouldn't be able to hear it.
I know, just keep it on the screen. Then everyone will be
Oh,
like,
you want me to do that now?
Yeah.
Be like,
yeah. So
something like that. And do like the heavy metal.
Yeah, that's good.
That would get the
I can get
people
behind that.
Sweet.
Yeah, all right. How about you, Bert?
I think it's just a little bit more chiller. I'd be wearing a baseballs and boring shirt. 1,
Ooh.
2, 3.
All right.
Brand.
First of all, quick aside. If anyone wants to know, here, you guys, I was going to say, give me a baseball. You guys have the baseball. This is why you are doing so well in this podcast. Because it's science. And if there was ever an example of how this is scientifically proven, that if you buy a baseballs and boring shirt, or if you have a baseballs and boring shirt, you have to wear it because it's going to be the best version of you. You know why I know this? Why do I know this, fellas?
You lived it.
No, why? I live it every day. Yeah.
Wait, if you wear it every day, then which
No.
is truly the best? Are you
No,
the best
it's
version of yourself
every single day. But there was not a better example of this than what's today? What's today? Thursday? Monday. There was not a better example of this than Monday.
What were we wearing on Monday?
What I was wearing. It was what Tyler O'Neill was wearing. Tyler O'Neill was walking around, strutting with his baseballs and boring shirt, cut off sleeves. Everyone walks through the clubhouse. Everyone's like, "Ooh, yeah!" And he walks out to the field. And then, you know what he did that day? 4 hits. 4 hits. All right. So, okay, yes. My chief marketing / marital officer said, reminds us to wear your baseball and boring shirt in the stands. If you do, I'll give you a stick. There you see it. You guys are roaming around the stands, right? This weekend?
Yeah. I'll be there tomorrow with Pat Brown. And then on Saturday, it's the 3 of us, right? And even producer Joe. Producer Joe might even be.
Wow. All right. Okay.
Who's super popular.
If you see producer Joe, ask him about Boba Shed.
Yeah.
Love
Oh, it's coming to town.
I know.
Like this week.
Yeah.
Oh, can we get Boba Shed on to like say this is how good we think you are that we had this guy right here, producer Joe.
I wanna tell him I think he looks like an exotic.
Tell us again what the trade was.
It was Bo Bichette to Boston. Sorry, Joe. Bo Bichette to Boston for Juan Grissom, William Brink, Yoel Cespedes, and Cutter Cross.
Okay.
A little bit much. Come on. It's a lot.
How's Boba Shed doing?
Very well. I think he's crushed
I
up.
mean, I think so. I think producer Joe's instincts were keen.
But do you agree with me that he kind of looks like an exotic bird?
Isn't that
Producer Joe?
No, Bo Bichette.
Oh.
No, his face. He looks like
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he has no problem.
These are the things I think of like I watch baseball. It's weird. It looks like an exotic bird.
Yeah. All right. So we appreciate, by the way, we appreciate everybody here traveling together around LLB and Seaport. As we said, it was like they make these scoreboards. LLB made these scoreboards. Can you show the boots? Yeah.
That's tar. Yes, that's made of tar.
Yeah, made of tar. That's made of. There you go.
You have the driest feet.
And I just think that was so cool, right? And then you obviously have like Red Sox, right? There it is. So
This is still my favorite. This back right here.
yeah,
I love it.
okay.
Maybe it will replace my tote bag. It's not.
Cool. European.
It's very, very good.
All right. So let's get down to brass tacks. All right. Opening day, opening a home opener there, returning home. You guys were in Fort Myers doing all kinds of interviews. Oh, can we talk about Garrett Crochet for a second?
He's pretty good.
Yeah, but can we talk about Garrett Crochet for a second?
How he screwed you?
No, I take no offense. So I want to go back to when you guys were in spring training. And when you were in spring training, you guys have to sit down with Garrett Crochet. And he said, tell me what he said. I don't want to miss it.
He basically said he wasn't optimistic about signing an extension before the season starts,
Which is what he was saying that whole week.
right. But then he alluded to being interested in it. He likes the sort of franchise. He likes how the talent on the roster is set up.
Yeah. So anyway, opening day also does not eat vegetables.
He said
You don't eat vegetables. Also very important. It's the big two. I mean, if you're, it's science. It's a science. If you love fish, where you fish, they'll eat vegetables. You'll automatically eat vegetables. But so you have the Garrett Crochet. He tells you that. Then we're all eyeing, okay, is this deal going to get done? Because he's the self-imposed deadline for negotiating this contract extension heading into opening day. It's an opening day. So he pitches opening day. Obviously, we aren't going to talk to him about the extension on opening day because he's pitching. Even after the game, you're not really going to talk to him about it. All right, but. So I and Craig Breslow on opening day said, yeah, no, nothing got done. I asked him, I said, hey, am I going to wake up tomorrow and season deals get done? And he's like, no, I don't know of anything like that. Okay. So next day, Garrett Crochet walking off the field, and I say, "Hello, Garrett Crochet. May I talk to you, please?" And he was nice enough. He stopped to talk, and we talked about, hey, you must be pleased. You don't have to answer questions like jamokes like myself about the contract extension. And then he said something to the effect, it came down to the wire. I said, the wire? Midnight? He's like, pretty much, right? So okay, fine. I thought that was noteworthy. We all thought that was noteworthy. We talked about it, right? That it was, oh my goodness, this is what he was saying a week ago. This was actually close. But you're going to have to wait a whole season to talk to him, right? Am I wrong about anything yet?
No.
Okay. So,
when he said that to you,
I went, ooh!
Yeah.
Ooh! Yeah.
When he said that like, when did you think immediately this is getting done soon or during the season?
I thought it might be a Cora type situation where you loop back in the middle of the year, as sometimes happens, and you get the deal. Okay. I thought middle of the season, right?
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think like instant, a couple days, a week. No. But it was like it was notable.
It was a change in tune.
It was a change in tune. It was, and also I love and we all fell in love with the midnight thing because we love deadlines, we love drama. Oh, it came right down the deadline at 11:59 p.m. Oh, no, sorry. And he have the image of them to say, nah, sorry, it's midnight. Sorry. So then we are sitting there the night of I'm having dinner with Alex Spear. And the news comes, Jeff Pass and breaks the news. Deal, 6-year deal, $170 million for a year. Am I shocked? No. I don't think I was shocked. This stuff happens. And I was fine with it. But I was looking forward to talking with Garrett Crochet. We were looking forward to talking with, we talked with Craig Bradfo in the conference call. And he said, I don't know if you guys saw it, where he said, Rob, when I told you that you asked me would you be waking up tomorrow morning and seeing a deal, I meant it when I said no. Okay.
They always say that. Like,
all right, that's fine. No, that's fine. So, but I was really anxious to talk to Garrett Crochet. So the good thing is that he pitched well, so we could talk to him about this. It wasn't like we could be in a bad mood. So we're talking to him after this is last night. We're talking to him after the game. And I asked him, sort of after we cleared out, just me and Alex around, and I said, hey, when I talked to you, was that like, did you have an idea that this was going to get done? And he's like, yeah, ... Sorry.
that was one of my favorite things that you've ever said. Yeah, sorry.
But he was, I think he was sincerely sorry. And he said this to me. He's like, I'm picking a paraphrase here. But he said, I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I'm being asked this question. I know this is going on. I don't want to say one thing and then it blows up or whatever it is. And I'm like, I'm not mad. Okay. Like, I've been lied. I don't even classify this as a lie. Like, I've been through lies. Like, that wasn't.
Technically didn't. Yeah, technically, if you'd asked him, do you think it could get done this week, and he said no chance.
Well,
even if
I asked him, I said, "Are you still negotiating right now?" Like that would have put him like that would you would have been stumbling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would have been tough.
Yeah, and then the other part of this was that we have Christian Campbell, right? So we had Cotillo put the report out that it was perceived like way down the line. We all go in and talk to Christian Campbell. And Christian Campbell, the guy, the well-meaning guy who doesn't know that he doesn't have a roommate in the MLB, doesn't know the team doesn't have its own plane, doesn't know
doesn't have teammates, he has friends.
His friends.
That's so awesome. I love that so much.
Yeah. So in case people missed it, Oscar said that Christian Campbell said he doesn't call his teammates, he calls them friends. So just like I call you guys.
Power of friendship.
The power of friends. Yeah.
What a job.
So then we have to ask him about it, and I'm kind of thinking this is a guy who's going to be overwhelmed, and he totally wasn't overwhelmed. And I'll give the PR staff credit. They gave him the heads up. And they said, this is going to be ass. He nailed it. It was fine. But then, as he said, like, they really wasn't, I don't know what, 50% done, but it wasn't as far down the road as I think Crochet was. But then you get the Baltimore. Now it catches steam. Now we get the report that he's agreed to the deal. And then I see him down the field before the game. I get there early, like 2:30, and he's there hanging, doing the thing with the what they got, the Bradfo kids. The Bat Boys, yeah. So he's doing an interview, but no one's around. He's out there. I'm like, oh, this is great. Christian Campbell, the guy that people wants to talk to. I go down and talk to him. He finishes it up. I think, can I talk to you? He doesn't say no. He never says no. So I talked to him, and it was fun. And then we started talking. The great thing is we started talking after the fact what a press conference is. Like, he thought that the press, and I don't think I'm telling stories out of school, he thought the press conference was basically like in the Nesson studio. You know? But
that's fair, though.
No, there's no context to it. So I said, well, I don't know. I think it could be in the, what is it called now? The 401 club?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. But it's going to be in the press. It's going to be in the press conference room. And then he's yeah. It could be. There you go. But he was like, I'm going to go to Garrett Crochet's contract, our press conference the day before, so I know what it's like. That's what he said. That's a smart kid. Yeah.
Big learner. Big on learning.
Yeah. Good at baseball, big on learning.
Yeah. That's what he kept saying to us when we were talking off the record. He would just say, like, I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
Very visual learner.
Yeah. Cool guy.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah, that's one of the core things. Very visual learner.
He's great. I feel like he brought kind of a breath of fresh air to that.
Oh, yeah. So that's my headline. My headline of my story.
Great nice.
Thanks for reading. So anyway, so you have why Campbell's going on, and that's a great thing. And why the Crochets thing. But remember, they're 1-4 when the Crochet thing is announced, right? But it did save them. I don't know. And Rafael Devers is one of the. Listen, I think Alex Flores did an excellent job. The one thing that I didn't agree with what he said was Devers, and it's almost like he had to check off boxes and things that sort of, well, we can say this about Devers, we can say this about Devers, we can say this about Devers. It's like, well, if this is July, we aren't talking about it. We are absolutely talking about it.
And it's happened before. It happened in like June in Houston. Trust me, it was talked about.
And this was more because there's so many other backstories, right? We're all guessing about why this is 50 reasons why this is happening.
All are valid if you think it.
So let me ask you this: they're sitting at 1-4. Now they're sitting at 3. Let's go. Okay. All right. So they're sitting at 1-4. What is, Gordo, you can go first. What is your line? What is your thing? You're one of the most optimistic. Believe me, we didn't get to dancing at your wedding until 10 o'clock at night because we had to hear how optimistic we were. About 50 speeches, right? I was all ready to dance. I was ready to dance for hours.
You just wanted to lift me in the chair.
But then it was like 10 o'clock at night. I've got to get it. We had to go through the speeches. It was a great one. It shows you like your passion for baseball. Anyway, my point is that you're an optimistic person. 1-4. Give me your guttural reaction to that.
Well, context here. Is it before the extensions or after? Because my vibe changed. Even in between Crochet and Campbell, my vibe changed dramatically. Before the Crochet extension,
you were just looking for anything.
Right? Oh yeah, I always am. But no, my pessimism at 1-4 wasn't a pessimism for the season. It's just like you look at a guy like Rafael struggling, a guy like Juan struggling, a guy like Story struggling. Are these guys going to be able to turn? Because like obviously I think Devers is going to turn around. He's going to be fine. Obviously I think Tristan Costa is going to turn around. He's going to be fine. But some of the guys at the bottom of the order, like, is that going to turn around? But the reason I'm optimistic is because you've got guys in the minors that are ready to go right now if you wanted them.
You're the most optimistic human being ever.
What, you don't think Marcelo Meyer?
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just like you're always looking for the I'll say this about Devers too. All right.
Did you not think Devers was going to be fine?
he's not going to be the option in my league.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Like,
No,
do you think Rafael Devers is going to have
ultimately he was going to hit the baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
But we couldn't.
Maybe not.
This was historic. What I was saying.
Yes.
One of the best years in baseball. Goes 0 for 19, makes history. He goes 0 for 19 with 15 strikeouts. It's
right. Yeah, it's historically.
But I'll say this about that, okay? And this should be known. I think that we interviewed him 3 times, like 3 times during that streak. Every time we have a problem, he said thank you at the end. Was upbeat, didn't give sort of like the side eye like he did the first, certainly the February 17th press conference, and then the other one
last year at the he was talking about adding talent.
Oh yeah. But this was he was striking the right tone. He was bebopping his way through the clubhouse, and and I think that honestly, if I wanted to play amateur psychologist, I think I'd go on Bregman almost more because I think that this is a kind of a leap of faith, but I think that Bregman is obviously he's into a caring guy, trying to be a good teammate. Also, one of the things that is being linked to Devers is he's being moved on third base, right? So I think that part of it is when Devers gets going, I think Bregman is like, that's good. That's good for everybody. All right. So what's your plan?
So my thought wasn't worried about the team. I was only thinking about the Devers, and I was kind of walking a tightrope on a tape. Because on one hand, there's no world in which Rafael Devers just worked out how to hit at age 20. No shot. But on the other hand, if he's still hurt, this team is in big trouble. So I was kind of like doing the, I'm not worried about Devers. He'll be fine. But if his shoulder is messed up, it's hilarious. And so I was kind of, it was basically all Devers on my mind. I didn't worry about it.
One of the things, and I know that you didn't read this because you didn't read anything, but one of the things, you're an audio learner, right? Books on tape. Books on tape. But one of the things I said about Devers was that how important he was to this team. Like, one of my favorite things to say, TM, you don't run isolation for alpha, right? This is why you have to be careful. If you pay so much money to one guy in baseball, you don't run isolation for alpha. As much as I love running isolations in high school basketball, you find the kid who can't move, who's defending the fast kid, you run an isolation, right? But you don't run isolations, you can't do that. But I will say this, is that a guy like Devers is that important. The middle of the order guy, and just go back to the Dodgers games, when a pitcher knows that guy is coming out, they start stressing out. A manager starts stressing out. And when you don't have that guy, it changes everything. And that's what you saw in Devers. You look at the Yankees when they were rolling and scoring a million runs with their special bats, right? They were there. I looked it up. I think their number 2 hitter was like a 900 OPS. The number 3 hitter had a 1250 OPS. Chad Chisholm in the cleanup spot had like a 900 OPS. I mean, that goes a long way, much like Soto was for last year.
Yeah, it was like in the World Series, they had this many batters until Ohtani comes.
Yes.
And then after Ohtani,
Yes.
It's like, it's also probably in the back of the mind of the pitcher as they're pitching to the 8-9 guy for sure. They're just like, we gotta get the 8-9 guy. It doesn't get easier than this. And right after these guys,
And you know what? It's the same thing. If you say, well, what do you prioritize? Why you pay all that money to these guys? So that's why you pay the money to those guys, and that's why you pay the money to the Garrett Crochet, because he showed exactly how important that is. Always said this.
big time stopper.
Right, okay? So this is another TM copyright. Ace protects the day up, the day before, the day of, and the day after.
So I say ace protects
An ace protects the day before because you know that you can basically burn through a bullpen because the ace is going to give you an 8, right? Day of because he's awesome. The day after because he just wants to. And you got the winning streak back, right?
Winning streak has never said that.
Yeah.
Not for nothing, just to go back to 1 and 2. Another reason to be a little optimistic is the 2 things that I think for the second half last year, with the veteran versus Red Sox, maybe more so than anything else, who had the worst infield defense.
By the way, did you get my reference when I said that Bregman got his keyword for base plan.
No, actually, I saw that and I didn't get it.
Oh, and 2005.
No,
How do you get that? I don't.
I tried to find it on YouTube. It's in right field. He's running in. Oh my goodness. He's nothing like a good base plan. Yeah, this one was. Anyway, go ahead.
No, I mean, the bullpen too. I mean, even right now, they have the best bullpen ERA in the American League.
Yeah.
At the time, I had 1-4 no team that let it
They've literally had one hiccup, and that was Justin Slayton. After I interviewed Justin Slayton for 5 minutes about the team.
Oh, so there's the BBI first.
No. It's just we're just reality check. Get him back. He had a great line. I can't use it. I can use the interview now because he's good. He's good again. But I asked him about a year ago how it was, you were a Rule 5 guy, and you're out of nowhere, and this and that. And he's like, I had imposter syndrome. I love that. There's nothing like a good imposter syndrome.
I could see a guy like him in Rule 5 pick, but he hadn't picked above double A.
Yeah. You guys have imposter syndrome when you're down in Fort Myers?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, you're around all these seasoned media guys, and then I scroll in like, what the hell did he do? I'm asking funny questions.
What's wrong with that? That's journalism.
I know, but it's imposter syndrome. It's irrational.
Why? You deserve to be
I
there.
psychology. I definitely feel like we belong. Maybe last year, definitely.
Yeah.
This year, we've been at it doing this for a year now. Definitely feel a little bit more in place. I feel like we belong.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What was the best compliment? I know this. First of all, like when Florida went up to the asked for interviews. Yeah. And
You say he was familiar with the show.
Oh, that was great.
I was
meant it.
No, but he said it on camera. He was like, oh yeah, I'm familiar. But then I was worried. I searched my Twitter afterwards. The amount of times before he got finished with Red Sox that I had tweets like, get this guy, get this guy, get this guy. I haven't seen these.
We had a lot of
I
clips.
wish we videotaped that whole sequence. So Garrett Roche is walking by, and you guys want to get him on. He's like, it's not like not right now, but in a couple days. That's the beauty of being there for a few days. And Gordo gets up to him and like, hey, Mr. Kush.
No, go away.
No, the most nervous you've been, right?
You ever heard him like that?
No. It's like, hey, Mr. Kush, I know you're 3 years younger than I am.
Go away. He looks like he's 35.
But the great thing is, so you go through this thing, it's very nice and everything, and then like your guys are selling, what was the punctuation of the whole thing? I was sitting about 20 feet away, leaning back in my chair, my sunglasses on. What did I say?
He said I can vouch for these guys.
I can vouch for these guys.
Yeah, that's still the deal.
That's it.
That's what got.
And he said right there, he's like, okay, I'll do it. There you go.
Yeah, I was really nervous about that one. I think it was more so just because we thought everyone was gone, and then I turned my back and was watching. I gotta get up and do this.
Is it weird to think that you were nervous asking someone who's 3 years younger than you?
No, because he looks like a monster. Like he's
In a good way.
Yeah, no, in a good way.
But he looks like a. I mean, he looks like a 25, 26 year old.
If you really look at
He's got a good beard and he's bald, so
Yeah.
it makes him look a little
But
bit.
if you're giant and he's jacked, he's an ace.
Handsome.
He is.
Yeah, it's nice.
He's the best. He's the best.
So you throw ace squirrels against your
I know. He's a human being, is what he is.
I remember what I was going to say.
He's a very nice guy.
He is a nice guy.
Orioles one. He's.
Okay. So anyway.
But when you're up close, he doesn't look.
By the way, we talked about. I've been asking about pictures about which torpedo pads things and the evolution of baseball. You know what the next evolution of baseball is?
Torpedo baseballs.
No, the next evolution of baseball is we're going to simplify. We're going to simplify the glove, right? All of this, they're getting too big and too wonky, too much material. Turn around. Let me see one of those gloves.
Oh yeah.
Careful. You got the white gloves on?
It's an 1800.
Yeah, look at show.
My day, we used to go to the ballpark and watch a game for all day.
Tell me that you wouldn't be a better fielder. Tell me you wouldn't be a better fielder Is that made of that? It's made of the LLB. LLB made this glove.
His brothers.
His brothers made this glove. Isn't that awesome?
That looks so painful.
I mean, you used to use these in your childhood.
Yeah.
I used to leave them on the field so the other fielder could use them.
But
They used to do that. They would, like, if you're playing shortstop, you with that kind of glove,
Yes.
and they leave the glove on the field so the next shortstop.
yeah, they should do all of that. It would make the game quicker. All of that. So, all right. So, but you feel better about the team.
I haven't changed how I felt about the team at all. I swear.
A lot has happened in the last game.
No, there's a difference. If I were 20 years old, 20-year-old Sam would be like, up and down. Like, what, 1 and 4, you think I'm going to get all up and all this and arm because of that?
There's a difference between being like annoyed at the play that you're seeing and frustrated at the stuff when you come in with such high expectations. There's a difference between being upset at that and then losing your hope for the season and changing your expectations for what the team's going to look like in July and August. Yeah, it's two different things, and it's frustrating because you tweet out your takes, and then people think, "Oh my God, he's saying the season's over." Not what anyone heard. No, there were people saying
Well, that
that.
was the
Certainly
thing
not
about
what
the
people
Devers. Like after the second game was out, a couple in particular, they really like, how dare you're driving this narrative? No, the guy who struck out 8 of 9 times.
Yeah,
Like he's one of the best hitters in baseball. Like this is what's happening in front of my face. All right. So last thing is that we talk about is the baseball. Okay, the baseball team is going to be playing baseball. St. Louis Cardinals. The return of Nolan Arenado.
Return because he was
Basically traded.
Former Red Sox fan.
Former Red Sox, Nolan Arenado. Yeah. So you're gonna have the game. You're gonna have the introduction. You're gonna play baseball, and yay for baseball. So how about? But one of the things, and you guys are there on crappy April 30th, whatever games. You got your LOD gear on, protecting you. You got all of that. You know, and then or
boring T-shirt.
yes, you got it all, right? A lot of people are going to go away. I saw it in Baltimore. It was full packed house, everyone excited, and then like nobody was there. That was an example. Like you can't stay for too long to be famous, but that's another story. So when we look at this crowd tomorrow, are you offended by how many people who are going to be there who won't show up, or are you like this is why it's on? It's the most enthusiastic crowd.
No, I'm not offended by those people. I think the Red Sox have to re-earn the trust of the fan base. Like you just said, you can't be bad for too long. This has been a team that, for the last 2024, they were 81 and 81, and that was their best season over the last 3 years. So it kind of puts it into context. They have not been good. They got to bring the fans back. And you could say, oh, that's bandwagon fans. The fact of the matter is, that is the majority of all sports fans, any sport, any fan base. No, not everyone is watching 162 games. So, no, I'm not offended by those people. Their money is just as important. Their presence is just as important. Red Sox got to keep coming back.
You work for the Red Sox.
No, I don't work for the Red Sox, but
their money is just as good.
but I have an eye for business.
I like baseball. So Gordo, as someone who has been documented for loving Florida more than anything else.
It's the best.
So
It's the best.
Marlins fan.
It's the best.
I don't even know how to explain.
I can explain. We would see like a lifted pickup truck, like an absurd lifted pickup truck, and all these bumper stickers, just crazy. And Gordon would be like, "Only in Florida can you see that? It's amazing."
It was it'd be sunny out. It's like, this is unbelievable. Look at this.
You
In
just
Florida,
have shade.
they have sun. And then the clouds would cover the sun. Look at this. We have shade.
You just
Florida
endured
has
a full
everything.
New England winter, and when you got to Florida, you were not relieved.
It was the way
you were.
It could have been 30 degrees.
No.
And you would have been like, look at this. Florida has a little of everything.
There's the guy at the gas station registered, tweaking out crazy. Gordo's like, it's always exciting here.
Look at that.
There's always fun stuff.
Someone dancing behind the register.
Yeah.
Holy Florida.
How fun.
Anyways, but I apologize. You're back in Massachusetts. You're at Fenway Park. You're not at Tinley Park. So Florida, I got a feeling that you're gonna find that this is. I'm gonna answer this question for you. It's so glorious.
Yeah.
The first day.
The first day at Fenway?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best days of the year, Rob. Come on. It is. Your first time walking up the ramp some way to see the field after 6 months of not.
It's so good. I'm definitely not rooting for like a 2-hour, 2-minute game, and in a great story.
I hope it's 3 hours and 45 minutes, and I hope it's 9 innings too. So it's just long.
It's all right. You know what? It's fine. As long as if you guys do, you'll be roaming. You're roaming around, right? Are you credentialed?
Yeah. I'm going to be credentialed, so we'll be on the field before the game.
Okay. All right.
Planting seeds, fun interviews.
Okay.
Maybe getting some interviews. And then after the pregame, I don't know, we're probably going to be roaming around. I usually just find
All right. I just want to know if you're going to be roaming around with the cheese.
I'll be around.
Really? Oh, really?
We'll see you in the cafeteria.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, listen. I want everybody to listen to Playtest. You guys are doing an excellent job. And Austin said, you guys are doing an excellent job. Brad is number one. I appreciate you coming out. Although you should be appreciated. See,
I am appreciative.
yeah. So, but thank you for all that you do. You're going to be doing a lot of stuff when it comes to the broadcast, when it comes to podcasts, baseball. It's boring, whatever it is. There's a lot of great stuff coming. You guys are part of the family. You know, I would hug you right now. These chairs are in so awkward a place. But still, thank you for wearing the t-shirts. Thank you for coming down to spring training. And thank you again to LOB, all the fine people there. It's been awesome. Come on down. And also, I mean, I can't tell you. We'll talk more. Go back and listen to the podcast that we did with Sean Corbin, and to really get the explanation of the connection with LOB and baseball, or baseball. It's incredible. I mean, listen, you guys said it. What would have happened if Ted Williams bought LOB? It's a great question. I was stumbling over the answer. I'm going to ruminate on it. So
Think about it. We'll talk about it.
all right.
Maybe there wouldn't have been an 86-year curve.
Yeah, because again, it makes everything great. Much like baseball.
Maybe you wouldn't move to the Red Sox.
May.